Well, hello there. It's Paul Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining us. We got another great interview coming up shortly. But click that subscribe button and the bell buttons below there if you haven't done that yet. Anytime a new episode comes your way, you'll be notified. And leave a comment on the comment section if you like. We'd love to hear from you there. And as always, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/Paul Mash TV. And you can follow us there, send us an inbox, even comment on things there. And we'd love to hear from you in email as well, paulmashtv, all one word, at gmail.com. And if you're a band or a solo artist and you want to be on the show, email us and we'll show you how to do that. But we also love fan mail, of course, so if you're just simply a fan and want to email us, go ahead and we'll get back to you. And all this will be recapped at the closing credits at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. From Los Angeles, California, we have Treyson Walker. He's a very awesome artist, and I think you're really going to love it. So we'll get to that in a second, but here's Galtar, the guitar that's made specifically for a woman. So don't go away. We'll be right back right after this.
Ready in 5.
Darling, when nothing else seems to match up. Galtar, the musical apparel that fits any outfit. Galtar, bringing heaven to earth, one gal at a time. GaltarHeaven.com.
Okay, we're back, and with us from Los Angeles, California, we have Treyson Walker. Thanks for joining us, Treyson.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We're glad to have you here. Well, how did it all begin for you? I mean, I'm sure ever since you were a little kid, you wanted to be an artist. Maybe it gets deeper than that, but tell us in your own words. We'd love to hear it.
Well, I started in the late 70s. I started writing and playing music, started playing in clubs, did most of my work in the 80s and did a lot of club playing, opened a lot of acts for a lot of acts. But my main focus was writing. So I felt that's where, where the real opportunities were, because I mean, musicians and singers are kind of a dime a dozen, great ones. But I learned very young that the song is the foundation of everything, and that's what everyone's looking for, is a great song. So I really focused on writing rather than becoming a great musician. So, but I could play well enough that I could write. So I played a lot, like I said, through the 70s and 80s, recorded a lot. That was my main love, was in the studio. Had an opportunity to work with a lot of great people. In the 80s, I did an album, I think 83, I did an album worth of material and had some great players on that. I had a gentleman by the name of Byron Allred who played all the keyboards, and he was the keyboard player for Steve Miller.
Oh,
and he created Fly Like an Eagle, that section, and Abracadabra, and did all those songs. Had a great guitar player that was like a legend in the South Bay of the Bay Area, and his name was Dave Russell. And Dave had since moved to Iowa as he got a little bit older and became a legend in Iowa. And they are now, I just found out they're going to put him in a museum. Both these guys, by the way, had passed away. And so David made enough of a name for himself in Iowa that they're actually going to put him in a museum in Iowa. So that was great. So I worked with him. 84, I did a song called Hurt My Heart, and had Elvin Bishop play slide guitar on it. I don't know if you've ever heard of Elvin, but he was the one who wrote the song Fooled Around and Fell in Love.
wow.
The Guardians of the Galaxy, you younger guys may know it, and from Boogie Nights, and they played it. Mickey Thomas from the Jefferson Starship was the singer that sang the vocals. Elvin wrote it. Elvin was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Paul Butterfield Blues Band, got inducted on the cover of Guitar Player magazine. So, and then as background vocals on that song, we had a girl named Maria Moldauer sang the background vocals on Hurt in My Heart, which Maria is known for a song in the 70s called Midnight at the Oasis. And again, you young people may not know it, but you might want to go Google it or check it out on YouTube. But so Maria sang background on that song. Back in '83, we had president of Curb Records come to see us play. He wanted one of my songs called Slow Dance. He wanted that song for Conway Twitty to do at the time. And I was kind of young and naive. And I said, why would I give him that? It's my best song. Which was stupid. I should have just given it to him and lived with the royalties after that. But and then '84, we had done the one with Maria and with Elvin. And then '87, I brought some people back together. We did a couple more songs, took my songs back to Nashville and tried to, get the songs placed. Didn't have any luck, came back, kind of retired at that point. I had 2 little kids I was raising. And so for 30 some years, I just been sitting here until maybe earlier this year. And it happened like probably around February of this year. I woke up one morning and I'd written a song in 1979 called Last Rider to the Sun. And it was when John Wayne was dying of cancer. And so I wrote the song for him because as a little boy, I'd watched all of his movies growing up and he was like my hero. And so I wrote the song called Last Rider to the Sun. And then long story short, he passed away. The song went in a drawer for 44 years. No one knew what to do with it until this year. In February, I woke up one morning and I realized, I go, John Wayne wasn't the last rider to the sun. I don't know why that popped into my head, but it did. And I said, Clint Eastwood was. And so I dusted off my guitar, pulled it out, and rewrote the first 2 verses of the song to fit Clint Eastwood. And found a producer in Los Angeles, and he's back and forth between Austin and Los Angeles. And so I asked him, I go, when are we going to go in the studio and record? And he says, we don't do it that way anymore. So I had to get used to the new way of recording because we may have a drummer in New York, a guitar player in LA, and he goes, we just send files out, bring them back and mix them. And so I said, oh, okay. And it turned out that he had a whole stable of world-class musicians in Nashville that he worked with. So it was even better for me.
Right.
I was working with people I'd never thought I'd ever work with. We worked with a drummer named Steve Brewster, who had played drums on Dierks Bentley's song Home. And he'd played with Kenny Rogers, the Oak Ridge Boys. You can go on and on. And we had to wait a couple of weeks for our pedal steel player because he was out on tour with Reba McEntire. And so these were quality guys. And there was a girl named Renee Truex. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but she was a fiddle player. And so we hired her. And then they thought I might be a little bit rusty on the vocals. So they said, you haven't sang in years, so maybe we need a singer. So we ended up hiring a guy. I found him, really. His name is Matt Dame. He's the current lead singer of a group called the Steel Drivers, which was Chris Stapleton's old band. And so Matt sang the song Last Rider to the Sun. And then I put it out and I started getting people calling me going, why didn't you sing it? I go, well, they told me I was rusty. Yeah. So I just took their word and we went with Matt to sing it. He did a great job on the song. But then I started realizing, hey, Treyson has to have a name out there. So I started putting all the album material that I had put together in the 80s onto YouTube and stuff. And I had a few songs that blew right past Last Rider to the Sun in views really quickly. And I go, well, and so I had my cousin called me one night and she was pretty lit up from drinking. And she says, hey, Trey, now that you're back in the recording business, she goes, could you write me a song? And she said, it's like my family's the backbone of me. And I took my guitar out. I hadn't written a song probably in 30 years. And I was trying to write it and that just wasn't working for me. So I I just kept thinking, man, she was kind of high, and she was funny and cute. And I said, she'd been doing a whole lot of drinking, and all of a sudden I go, a whole lot of drinking. And that phrase stuck with me. And so I started building a song around that, and it came together really quickly. And the next week I was going up to my grandson. I have triplet grandsons, by the way. So I was going up to their 16th birthday in August. And my daughter's fiance, Dan DeShera, he's a great musician in his own right. He's backed up on stage Darius Rucker, Lucas Nelson, Lady A. And so he's a great player. He has a studio in the back of the house. And so I came up and I was telling him, hey, I just wrote this song. I think it's pretty good. And he goes, well, let's go record it. So we went out and into the studio and started recording it. And we started getting yelled at because we weren't in the birthday party. And and so but everyone started gravitating out to the studio because the song was really coming together well. And so we even got to a point where we needed a female singer, and my daughter was in at the birthday party, and we said, can you, honey, can you come out and sing some background vocal? So it was very organic. The whole thing went together. And at the end of the weekend, we looked at each other, Dan and I looked at each other and go, man, this came out great, So now what are we going to do with it? Well, the problem back in the 80s is I never promoted it. It was never on radio, or I said, this time we're going to promote the song. So I went to and found a company, music and film in Nashville. They're a promotion company, and I ended up talking with the CEO, Stephen Wrench, and loved the song. So Stephen goes, yeah, I think we can do something with this. And so we went ahead and hooked up with them, and they put the song out all over the world. And much to my surprise, I mean, it's been doing great. And we've even got to this last week, as of I think it was Tuesday, we were number 10 on the world indie charts. And it's only been on there 2 or 3 weeks. And so I go, Stephen, do you think we're going to move anymore? And he goes, yeah, I think you're going to keep going. So it's going to be interesting to see where the song goes. And then what was really kind of cool is they had the DRT chart. Are you familiar with that? Or it's called a digital radio tracking is what it is. Tracks everyone. So they have 2 charts. They have one for all the big people like Taylor Swift and Elton John. And then they have one for an indie chart for smaller artists, but have their own chart. So I ended up being number 30 on the indie chart on that one. That's where I am right now. But I actually make it what I call the varsity team. They actually put me on the big chart with all like the Taylor Swift, Elton John, and Kenny Chesney, all these people. So out of the top 200, I'm at 149 this week. And I'm amazed by that because I've got Jelly Roll behind me. I've got Taylor Swift behind me, Carrie Underwood behind me. I'm like going, it's mind boggling to me. So, but I'll take it. I'm really excited about that. The song's doing great. And so that's kind of where we're at. I guess I'm back in the music business.
Okay, well, that is quite a story there, Treyson. I'm glad that you've been sticking around this long. Hopefully you'll have many more years ahead of you.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I know you mentioned a lot of bands earlier. You mentioned like Steve Miller and Mickey Thomas from
Jefferson Starship.
Jefferson Starship, right? Would you say some of those are really your influences on singing, or did it go?
I think what's funny is I was raised in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. So I was raised on country wasn't a big thing there, but I was raised on rock and blues. Mm-hmm. And I'd say at that time, my real influences were probably Creedence Clearwater. And believe it or not, probably the Doors. Like I loved Jim Morrison. And to me, when he sang, he sounded like a man. First time I heard him, I go, I love this guy's voice, the intensity of it. And so as time went on, when I started recording, there was an old Oklahoma engineer in the studio in San Jose where I recorded at my first songs. And he would tell me, Trey, I know you want to be a rock and roll singer, says, but you sound like a country singer to me. I go, but I'm not, I don't really like country music. He goes, well, you better learn to like it because that's what fits your voice. So I did. I started taking that advice. I listened, and now I love it. I mean, it's like my top form of music now. But and I realized when I'd start play country songs that they did sound good with my voice. And so I really gravitated to country music after that, and that's how I got into it. And we were really when I was playing, it was what was really big then was probably Leonard Skinner, Marshall Tucker, the Allman Brothers. I was more of a country rock guy. In the 80s, another big influence probably was John Mellencamp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so if you listen to a whole lot of drinking, it's got kind of that Mellencamp groove to it, like I was born in a small town. You know, it's got that kind of heavy beat to it, and that's what I wanted, but with a country flavor, you know. And so it seemed like it worked out well. So those were kind of my influences. And another one that maybe a lot of people don't know would be Steve Earle. And Steve Earle, and I loved Willie, and I loved Merle, and you know, all these guys. So I guess I've had a lot of influences over the years.
Yeah, there's some great ones too. You know, you mentioned Mellencamp and Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, all those, and you know, you can't go wrong with them. Now, after watching this video we're going to watch, I'm sure everybody else might want to download your music, or if you have it on CD, they might want to get it there, and they might want to follow it on social media as well. Tell everybody how they can do that.
Well, all the songs are on all the streaming services now. So it's on Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, I think iHeart. I mean, it's on everything. Okay. So they can find all of my music, not just Whole Lot of Drinking. But and if people don't want to buy the song, they can always go to YouTube and just pull up Treyson Walker. And all 12 songs that are on there will pull up, and they can just go through them. It's like a library. Go through it and listen to them, you know. And if they do like them, we'd love to have them purchase the songs if they want to do that on iTunes or Apple, whatever.
Okay. Well, everybody go to your favorite streaming site, and I guess you're on social media too, like Facebook and so.
Oh yeah. Go to Facebook under Treyson Walker, and they should find me there. I'm on Instagram under Treyson Walker. I have a what's the other one? TikTok, but I don't really understand that one yet. So, and that's kind of a younger format, so I haven't really done much with it. But Instagram and Facebook, you know, they can find me there as well, and on YouTube. That'd be a start anyway.
Okay. Well, go to your favorite streaming site and also those social media sites you mentioned. I know he would love you if you follow them on those sites. And like he said, that's what song we're going to play there, A Whole Lot of Drinking. And we'll get to that in a second. But Treyson, I think that's all we really need for now. But we would love to have you back sometime if you want to plug something new for us.
Yeah, anytime. I'm thinking about releasing a new song in January, again with music and film. And I think this is a whole different type of song. It's a ballad, but I think it's a great song. Steven loves it from music and film. So I think we're going to re-release that, or not re-release, but we're going to release it in January or February. So be on the lookout for that. I think it's going to be a great song. So it's my most popular song on YouTube, by the way, even way bigger than A Whole Lot of Drinking. So.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking for that. Just let us know, and we'll have you back on sometime, Treyson.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, and let's go right to the song, A Whole Lot of Drinking, and it starts right now.
wants a cool one? Fire 'em all around on me. I got dough in my pocket, high as a rocket I'll be. There'll be a whole lot of drinking on this thinking in me. This night's gonna be so long. Pain and the hurt, they're killing me. Whiskey shots double strong is what I need. Give me an ooh yeah. They got the lights down low and the dance floor's rocking and reeling. I got some new friends saying, have a good time and be free. We got a whole lot of drinking to drown this sinking in me. Who wants a new one? Who wants a cool one?